This is Kim and Shannon.
Are you newly engaged and don't know where to start?
Have you been planning for a while and are ready to elope?
Don't stress, we've got your back.
We are from Ring to Veil,
Your wedding planning heroes. Wedding money saving tips, episode number 207.
I know we keep asking you, but please subscribe to the show. Anywhere that you're listening to this podcast, subscribe there.
And thank you, subscribers, for subscribing to our podcast. And thank you for the recent reviews that we've gotten.
Join our Facebook group if you have not already. It is from Ring to Veil wedding planning community. We would love to have you. All you have to do is answer a couple of questions and we'll let you in.
We have our timelines and checklists on our website for sale for $3.99. So go check them out at fromringtoveil.com/checklist. It is 25 plus pages of great info, checklists, budget sheets, scratch paper. It's all there for you to peruse over and write on. Go check it out.
All right. So today, wedding money saving tips. It's time for us to give you some more budget saving tips. We've had individual shows with things like floral and decor and stuff like that to help you in that specific area save some money. But now we're just going to give you a really good blanket list of things that you can choose from if you decide that you want to use those to save money.
Your most important piece of your wedding is a venue, church, reception hall. That's also probably going to be your biggest expense. To lessen that expense, it'd be easier to get like off-season venues. Like if in your local area, if your wedding season is, say, May to October, maybe you want to get married November to March or April or something like that. Or check out weekdays. Weekdays are always cheaper because the venues don't have anything to do during the week. They're mostly booked on the weekends.
Which makes sense because most people want to get married on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Saturdays, then you've got another option, Friday or Sunday, which is usually a little bit cheaper. Mm-hmm. And then like Shannon said, even cheaper is probably a weekday.
Try a Thursday. Make it a long weekend for your guests. Mm-hmm. They come Thursday night and they'll stay somewhere the weekend.
Might be a little vacation getaway for them. Mm. And if you think about it, Saturday wedding, usually sometimes it will get a little crazy that night. So they have to get up the next day and take a flight home. This gives them a little extra time to recoup and recover from the party. All right, so that's an off-season thing, but an in-season thing is your floral. If you want to save money, get it in season. So if you're getting married in May, Shannon, what's the best type of flowers to get?
Snapdragons, tulips, stuff that you see in the spring. You go to, say, a farmer's market and they have local flower vendors. You see what they have. You ask them what that is and they will tell you. And so you need, to think about in-season floral. Fall, sunflowers, dahlias, things like that. Winter, you're kind of stuck with
whatever's available.
Winter, there's kind of sparse, but you can still get like roses because roses come from South America most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're trying to go local, you really have to go with seasonal.
Yeah.
So when's the best time to get peonies?
July. And then
all right.
If you're local in the contiguous United States, July is a good July to like June, July, and August. Sometimes you can get them early May, but they're not going to be as big.
So it's more of a summer flower.
Yeah.
You heard it here.
But if you want to get peonies in, say, early spring, you'd have to get them from elsewhere.
Which costs more money.
Yes.
Usually. And again, talk to your floral designer or your local florist about when these things are going to be in style, in season.
And always think of substitutes because, yes, the peonies, say you're getting married in November, peonies aren't there. Dahlias work really well. Dahlias are gorgeous. You can get them in almost any colors. There's more colors in dahlias than there are in peonies.
Mm-hmm. So you have options.
Yes.
And we could talk about flowers all day, but let's go to the next one. So make a budget and stick to it. Now, when you're making your budget, you're going through and you're deciding what is most important to you. And you're going to put that at the top.
Yes.
You know, our venue, my photographer, my videographer. Maybe your videographer isn't your top. Maybe it's, you know, you want great food. So whatever it is, go through your list, make your budget dependent on that. Mm-hmm. But I do have to offer, do some research on how much this stuff costs in your area.
Yes.
Because you could look it up for here and it'd be totally different from where you are.
And another advice, go to consultations. Go to more than one per vendor. That way, once they give you an estimate back, you can see what they are and then make your budget accordingly. You know, don't just start at a budget and say, oh, $1,000 for photography. That's
maybe not.
Yeah.
It may be. So you just don't know until you do a little research on the area that you live in and where you're hiring your vendors. And all that, make your budget and try your best to stick to it. Let's say there's something that comes up that like you guys decide that you really want to do. You may have to shift the numbers a little bit and take away something that you're not real happy with. And maybe you're just kind of on the fence about. You can move it around. But really trying to stick to that budget will save you money in the long run.
The next is a wedding website.
Yes. A wedding website really helps in just the way that you're not having to make phone calls and send emails, and it's more of a time saver than it is a money saver. But if you have everything in one spot so that you can send that information out to all of your guests and say, if you have any questions, check the wedding website first.
Yeah. I would put, like, on your RSVP card in your wedding package, your wedding invitation package, put down at the bottom, you know, if you don't want to mail this back, please RSVP via website and check for any other up-to-date information.
Right.
Don't forget to put the web address on there.
That's right. And maybe you don't even send out those RSVP cards, so you're saving money there. You just say RSVP here at our wedding website. Or you text at this number. So, you know, something that makes it very easy.
Wedding party gifts.
So here's the deal. Right now, we're giving, what's the word for it? The boxes to ask them if they're going to be, if they would be in your wedding party.
Boxes.
There you go. Or groomsmen or whatever. Mm-hmm. They're giving boxes to ask. So that's basically a gift. Mm-hmm. And then a gift for being your bridesmaid. You know, and then maybe a thank you gift. I'm like, it's getting a little bit crazy with the gifts on this. So you can find alternate things to give them or pay for that actually pertain to your wedding.
Right.
So the one thing, hair and makeup or outfit accessories that maybe used traditionally they're supposed to be responsible for.
Right.
You pay for that. And that there is their gift. That's a, hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I want you to feel special. Let me pay for your makeup.
Mm-hmm. Even the men, you can pay for grooming for the men. There are places now that come to you for men that'll shave, you know, cut off, clean up their hairlines, give them a facial, all kinds of stuff, and pamper the men a little bit so you can pay for that. A dinner out, like having a combined dinner for everyone. Mm-hmm. That's a gift. You know, you can think of things that are a little bit cheaper because the dinner altogether it's going to be cheaper than, say, buying a flask for each of your groomsmen or jewelry for each of your bridesmaids or something like that. So think of it that way.
And another thing is there's rental places for accessories like jewelry. I mean, we've had people on the show that talk about this. Mm-hmm. You can also rent jewelry, nice jewelry for them to wear at the wedding, or hair pieces, and when I say that, I mean like combs and barrettes, not necessarily toupees or falls. You know, but I mean, hey, if that's what you guys want, I've seen lots of fun hair things that you can add to your actual hair to make it look even fuller, which could be really fun too. So what we're saying is, make it pertain to your wedding so that you're kind of killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
You want your bridesmaids to look great, so you're going to get their jewelry or hair or makeup or whatever. And
another thing about hair and makeup, which I've noticed, if the bridesmaids pay for it themselves, not everyone can afford it. And so if like if you have 6 bridesmaids and 4 of them get hair and makeup and 2 of them don't, you're going to be able to tell the difference. So that may be a good thing to purchase for your bridesmaids.
Okay, saving money when it pertains to your guest list.
I know you want to invite Aunt Sally and her +1, but if you haven't seen Aunt Sally in 5 years, are you going to want to invite her to your wedding? I know that seems harsh.
And maybe it's not Aunt Sally. Maybe it's like cousin so-and-so that you haven't seen since you were 2.
And if you're having a smaller wedding to save money, then you need the extended family and extended friends. They all need to be cut down. Like must-have wedding guests, and then have a B list in case must-have wedding guests don't RSVP on time or have something else planned for that weekend. Then cull from your list B and add them in.
You can even have a list C.
Yeah.
Seriously. So, yeah, get that wedding list and just go through it, and get rid of everybody that you can to save some money. And then like Shannon said, you could go with a small and intimate wedding and maybe even limit their +1s. Maybe you give +1s to only these VIPs or whatever, group A's, and do not get them or something like that. Just, and you know how many people that you can afford to throw this party for, right?
There will be some hurt feelings with the +1 thing, but if you are having a small wedding and you have never met this +1, why would you want them at your wedding?
And why would they want to be at your wedding too?
Yeah.
You know who you need to invite and who you don't. And when it's you cut so-and-so out and your mom's going to cut you out, I mean, you just have to figure out what your priorities are.
Yeah. Alternate bridesmaids bouquets. You don't have to have this big elaborate bridesmaids bouquets. Okay. You can have like a cluster of hydrangea, 3 stems of hydrangea for your bridesmaids. It's elegant. It's simple. It looks good. Hydrangeas come in many different colors.
It's poofy.
Yes. It's round. Single stem bouquets. You get a single stem of your favorite flower. Say you're getting married in August or October. Your favorite flower is a sunflower. Sunflowers are huge. You can get 1 sunflower and use it for their bouquet and have a ribbon wrapped around it or something. They don't have to be big and elaborate. If they have grand callas, the large calla lilies, they're gorgeous. You have 1 of them. There's no design time in that, very little to tie a ribbon around it and to process them first. But other than that, they're not going to sit there for 45 minutes trying to make a bouquet out of it. So it's going to be a little bit cheaper for you. And that's a good DIY thing for a bride if you're doing your flowers. Large single stem flowers, they're easier to do. You don't have to sit there and make bouquets the night before.
Which there is a actual talent for. Like there's a design to it. There's a way to do it where it works right. And then there's a way that it doesn't work right. Just so you know. But there's also other alternate bridesmaids bouquets, which we talked about. There's puppies. There's cotton candy.
Please don't do puppies.
To name a few. But, you've seen people like carry baskets or lanterns or something significant to either the design, decor, or to you as a couple, something like that. I mean, you don't have to do flowers.
Yeah, I've even seen them carry clutches that you bought them, that the bride has bought them. They're nice clutches. They're carrying something, so their hands aren't just sitting there by their sides. They're not flowers, but hey, a clutch, a nice satin clutch with a little bit of bling on it, that's pretty.
It is. So think outside the box.
Yeah.
You probably don't. It's going to save you a little money in the long run, right?
It could be their gift.
Exactly. And bouquets can be quite expensive depending on how big and how much you put in them. The next money-saving tip that we have is to go paperless. So I know there's people that are paper people and there are technology people. So you have to decide what kind of person you are. But going paperless can save you a little money depending on how much you're doing.
Yeah, you don't have to pay for postage, which is a big expense. If they're all evites. I know that's a horrible word. This sounds to do for your wedding invitation. But people like me who lose things.
Yeah.
It's great.
And especially if you have a wedding website, then you can add all that information that you would be sending out to them to the wedding website and invite them through that. A very beautiful electronic invitation, sounds better than evite, is really nice. And for me, I see that. I put it directly on my calendar. Some of these, you can just click this, add this to my calendar kind of thing, and it got all the information right there. It's just so easy, and it can save you some money.
Yeah, and plus, if I lose it, if I lose the paper invite, and I'll have to call you. When was I supposed to RSVP?
And I have to say, we do have artists that do lots and lots of paper stuff, and that are very artistic and beautiful stuff. They can work electronically too, so they could design something for you and turn it electronic, and you can still use that if that's kind of your feel and what you're wanting to do. Absolutely use them for your electronic stuff.
Graphic artists.
Yes. Even like one of our favorites, Ginger, I know she can she can draw something, turn it electronic, and have that put on your beautiful invitation. So,
yep. We love Ginger. Hi, Ginger.
Yeah.
Okay. Seating charts rather than cards. If you're having a sit-down dinner, though, you might need a card.
Well, I mean, there's ways around that. You could do one card for each table with everybody's, in everybody's option that they chose on the, like instead of just printing out a bunch of tiny, tiny cards, you could do one on each table, or you could even put it. I've seen the seating charts that also have their selections on it too. So one rather than a bunch.
Ask your
whatever
caterer
works.
what they prefer.
Yeah.
If you're having a sit-down dinner, ask your caterer what they prefer. Because the card that's on the table usually tells them who's sitting there and what they have. So just make sure. Menu signs. Yeah, not everybody needs a personal menu, or this is a lot of paper. So you have a personal menu for each chair, each seat. You don't need to do that. Just put it at the beginning. Tonight we are having rack of lamb with mash and gravy with salad, and, just put it at the beginning. You don't have to have it on every table. It's just like programs. They don't really need programs.
You can do a sign if you want.
Yeah.
If you really think people are going to want to know, put a sign. They can take a picture. They can look at it beforehand, whatever. Signs are great.
Or make it a useful program like a fan.
Yeah. Yes. I am all for the fan. I am all for the fan.
Yes. Because, usually venues are either too cold or too hot. Because there's all those people in there. So
that's right.
They either undercompensate or overcompensate for either, but depending.
That's for sure. So this next tip I thought is really great. So you could rent a house, maybe Airbnb or whatever it is that you use. You could rent a house for your venue. You could either get married in the backyard and have a reception back there. Maybe you're having a church wedding and have the reception in here. However you do that, have that for your venue. You can stay in this place beforehand while everything's getting ready. And then you can even stay there for your honeymoon.
I saw one the other day. It just flashed up on my in my newsfeed on Facebook. It was a local place. Well, it was about an hour west of here on Lake Buchanan. But it fit 20 people. 20 people for $300 and something a night. That's a bargain.
That is a bargain. And that's another thing. Yeah, you can invite your family or your bridal party or whatever to stay in the house beforehand. Of course, kick them out for the honeymoon. But, here, you can stay here until the day after the wedding.
20 people in a house. I don't know if I could do that, but yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, if you're young and all that, it's fine.
I need my sleep, people. Anyway.
I just thought that was a great idea.
Yeah, it is. And it was right on the water. It was right on Lake Buchanan. So you have a water view in their front yard. It was a green front yard. You could sit chairs there or whatever, or just stand. You don't need to sit. If you're only having 20 people.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it was a gorgeous place. I'd stay there.
Speaking of gorgeous places, consider college campuses. Right now, the campus down here is full of beautiful cherry blossoms, right? Mm-hmm. There are some really pretty college campuses, and consider them because they have rooms that you can rent there.
Yeah, like UT, University of Texas here, they have the UT Hotel and Conference Center, and then they have these gorgeous little nookie courtyards that you can go in, and the quad, and they're tree filled, they're green grass, there's brick paths and all kinds of stuff. So go check out a college campus. College campuses usually has an event coordinator somewhere. Choose a courthouse wedding. You're saying, oh no. Hey, you can have a courthouse wedding, the ceremony, and then have a reception after.
That will save you a lot of money.
Yes, it will.
And like you've learned a couple episodes ago, you don't even need a wedding officiant for every state. So you could even do it on the lawn of the courthouse and then head out.
And go get your piece of paper sign.
Okay, borrow jewelry. So we've talked about renting jewelry, but you can borrow jewelry. You know somebody, Aunt Sally, or even your mom, grandma, somebody has some great, beautiful jewelry, diamonds, whatever. Ask if you can borrow them. They say no, they say no. But if they say yes, how awesome would that be?
Yeah, because that could be your something borrowed.
Yeah. So consider borrowing it. You don't have to buy brand new jewelry for this, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is a great money-saving tip. I don't care who you are.
Yeah. So on your dress, yes, it's one of the most important things. Mm-hmm. If you're a dress person, you can buy them on consignment. You can buy samples. You can even rent dresses if you don't want to keep it around.
You have options.
Yeah.
But if you are going to purchase one that you have to order as early as you can. Because sometimes you can get those cheaper than if you're like, I need it in a month.
Yeah.
Then it might cost you a little more.
Right. Because you're still going to have to pay for alterations and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Now, sometimes you don't have the option. You're going to get married in a month and you just got engaged. There's, we're not talking about that. Mm-hmm. Then you go look at consignments and samples and save your money there.
If you know of somebody, like you're in these bridal groups or in these wedding groups on Facebook, that they're getting married on the same weekend as you, but at different times or different places and days, this is going to get confusing. Share decor. Your flowers, like for centerpieces and stuff like that, as long as they are in water, some kind of water source, will stay good for another day. Mm-hmm. Go in together and share this. Somebody will have to be there that night to pick them up, to take them home and then to the other venue. But yeah, you can save a lot of money that way. Y'all can go in halvesies.
Or if there was somebody getting married recently or right before you, or maybe even after you, and they have like boxes or vases or something that they're going to be using, you could maybe borrow those or cheaply rent from them or something like that. That might save you a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Okay, if your family offers to help, now I'm talking about setup, cleanup, drive things around, pick stuff up from the dry cleaners, things like that. Let them help you.
Yes.
If somebody is just got a camera for their birthday, for Christmas, and they offer to do your wedding, I would say no. That's my personal opinion, just from seeing things that have happened all across the board here.
Yes.
If they are a professional photographer and they ask you if they can gift this to you, let them do it. Especially if you like their stuff. Mm-hmm. But when your family and friends offer help, take it. Don't say, oh no, it's okay. If they really want to do this for you, let them do it to a certain degree. If one of the family members wants to make the casseroles and you're actually going to be getting catering, then you can turn them down. Yeah. But maybe they can bring lunch for you guys earlier that day or something. Just let them feel like they're being helpful and take the help because you're going to need it and want it.
Right. This is a big one. If you want to save money on your floral, we talk about floral a lot.
Yes. Because we love it.
Yeah, it's easy to reuse in different spaces. Mm-hmm. So you have all of this floral that was for your ceremony. There's aisle arrangements, there's altar arrangements, there's, maybe you're having your ceremony and the reception in the same place. Mm-hmm. So you can move this floral into different spaces in this once they set up the reception tables. Or if you have all of this floral at a church and you want to use it, you'll have to have your floral designer relocate everything. So she'll have to stay until after the ceremony to take all the floral to the other location. But it'll be cheaper in the long run because you don't have to make brand new floral for your reception. Bouquets for centerpieces. Put empty vases with water on your head table or your bridesmaid bridal party table. They could put the bouquets in those empty vases, and that could be a centerpiece. Mm-hmm. They don't want to carry them around. They need a water source to keep fresh. So there you go, instant centerpiece.
I love the idea of making a large piece from the smaller pieces. So let's say you have 20 tables. So you'll have to have 20 centerpieces, right? If you decide to have that. And then for the ceremony, you cluster 10 on each side for an altar piece. You know what I mean? So you've got smaller pieces that make a bigger piece in this instance, like in your ceremony. Then you move them to your ceremony, and there you go. You have all your centerpieces together. So they're, again, serving two purposes. I've seen that. Mm-hmm. And you can also put these little bitty ones, and they can be your favors or take homes if you really have to have them. Set those on the table. Hey, you guys take one of those home. It's a little thank you from us. Mm-hmm. As it's served for the centerpiece, then I just love the 2-in-1 thing.
And right now, I don't know if y'all shop at the Target dollar spot. But hey, it's a bevy of springtime goodness right there. Is it? Yes. Okay. They have these little dollar glass faces in all kinds of different colors. Mm-hmm. They're gorgeous. They're all cut glass. Some of them are cut glass. They look like old-timey, bottles and stuff like that. And they come in pinks and blues and clears. But they're $1. You can't beat that.
No, you can't. That's really nice.
So you put 1 or 2 stems in there, line them up around the middle of the table, and hey, there's your centerpieces. It does not have to be anything elaborate. Candles.
That's right. Your favorite.
Candles make the room. They give it an ambiance. Always use candles, whether they're tea light candles or large candles, candelabras. You could put a candelabra in the middle of a table with no flowers on it, and it's an elegant table.
True.
Candles, candles, candles.
And you can also do that in your ceremony. Candles, candles, candles. It looks beautiful. Borrow a fancy car for your exit. So instead of having to rent something, one of your family members has a pretty nice car that's better than your 20-year-old Honda Sentra. Which there is absolutely nothing wrong with exiting in that car and letting people, write stuff all over it or whatever. And that's fine. But if you want a fancy car, maybe you ask to borrow that from one of your family members or very close friends that has a nice car, or ask them to take you.
And you don't even need to actually leave.
Right.
Because if they don't want you to take their car, just say, hey, I'm going to drive it a half a mile down the road and you can pick it up.
Right. Or they can, unless it's a 2-seater, I was thinking they could even chauffeur you. Just make it for the pictures. Really, is what you're doing this, and for the whole experience of it, right? Because then maybe you turn around, come back, and party for a couple more hours. It just
you just need those exit pictures. Your photographer was scheduled for this many hours.
Yeah,
you get the exit picture, then you come back and dance some more.
Yeah, and then you do more.
Again, with the flowers, I guess we should have clustered all the flower stuff together.
Yeah, let's just sprinkle them through. That's fine.
Don't use boutonnieres or corsages. Boutonnieres and corsages are a time consumer for your floral designer. A lot of them can do them really quick. You know, boutonnieres aren't usually the time consumers. It's the corsages, depending on how elaborate you want the corsage. And plus, corsages are dated. I don't even like to do them for proms anymore. Mm-hmm. But what do you do for proms besides bouquets? And then she'll have to sit it down somewhere.
Right.
You know, I don't. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I'm worried. I'm starting to think about prom because my son's a senior this year.
So and corsages and boutonnieres and all that.
I have to make the flowers.
Of course.
So cut them out. Use a pocket square in your color. You don't need a flower. They get squished. They get torn off. They get, you know.
That's true. Fall off or flip downwards if they're not pinned correctly.
And they take the jacket off, you know.
Yeah, Then it's on the jacket and he's not wearing it for the rest of the night. Yeah.
So
totally. Just another saving. I mean, if you want them, if you just love them and you want them, great, do it. But if you're looking for a money saver, cut those.
Yeah. And if your grandmother has to have a corsage, because, you know, grandmothers are sometimes like that, get her a single stem flower and hand it to her. You know.
Or just order one corsage for her because that's what she wants and you can give that to her. And that's it. You don't have to give it. Well, because this one and that one, and, you know, if that's the only one that really wants it, give it to her. All right. When it comes to alcohol, limit your options. Maybe a signature cocktail, one red, one white, wine option, and then some beer selections. And then simple, you're kind of covering everybody, except for the water drinkers, but have water too.
Yeah, then you have water, tea, you know, soda,
whatever, yeah. But for the alcohol, where you're spending a lot of money on your alcohol is with those cocktails. Mm-hmm. You can buy cases of wine at a decent discount.
Yeah. If you don't have to if your state laws don't require you to have a bartender or anything like that, like in Louisiana, you don't have to have a bartender. You can just buy your alcohol and sell it, I think. Not sell it, but give it away. Mm-hmm. Like the last wedding I went to, they had what they call a pirogue, which is basically a boat, a rowboat, you know. Mm-hmm. They had it full of ice. They had beer all through it. There you go.
Fun and easy.
Yeah. That's the easiest way to do it. You go to Costco, go to Sam's, buy cases. Mm-hmm. Case of wine, case of beer, case of soda. There you go.
Unless you're a little particular, then you can go to like the winery or whatever.
Yeah.
And probably buy. I believe that they offer discounts if you're buying cases instead of just one bottle.
Yeah. And then if you're doing a signature cocktail, find a recipe that you could do yourself and put them in those large drink dispensers. Mm-hmm. And put them in the refrigerator, you know, mix them up the day before or have somebody mix them up the day of in the morning or the day before, put them in a refrigerator, and then you'll have your signature cocktail. And once it's gone, it's gone.
But have somebody stand there and...
Yeah, limit.
Limit or, make sure the kids don't get into it.
Yeah.
This is not lemonade. Sorry. All right. Live music, either for the ceremony or even for the reception. You could consider college students. A lot of colleges have jazz bands and stringed quartets and things like that get together. That they even actually advertise that they do weddings. So look there if you're looking for somebody to just play some, stringed quartet music as you're walking in or getting seated or something like that.
Price multiple options for your catering items. Cakes, catering, dinner, drinks. Always have multiple options. And your cake, consider having a small cake for cutting for you and your significant other. And then having cake or other sweets for your guests. Cupcakes, sorry. Cupcakes or other sweets for your guests. Single serving ones. Mm-hmm. Not a whole big cake.
To be really easy. Just to go and get whatever it is that, as a guest, that you want.
Right. Or they even do this. You have a small cake for cutting that's your flavor that you want. And then out in the back, the catering company has a big sheet cake and they cut it and serve it. So you can try that too. Just a single sheet cake that's just white cake or yellow cake and
something easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No decoration on it, nothing. Just icing and cake.
Catering, you can price out buffet, price out past appetizers, price out single menu options, even price out things like we've talked about before, stations, the taco station, the popcorn station, this and that and the other, and find out what works best in your budget, or find out your options and decide what you want. Right. And maybe that is the best option when it comes to price.
But for sit down, if you have to do a sit down dinner, if that's what you want, don't have so many choices because they're going to have to add those onto your bill. Okay. Yes, only 5 people want salmon, but they have to buy probably more salmon than just for 5 people. And you will have to pay for that. Okay. So just have a vegetarian choice and a meat choice. It doesn't have to be beef. It could be chicken. It could be, pork. It could be something like that. Because not everybody likes beef, but most people will eat chicken.
Right.
Right. Don't give them too many options.
That's right. It's not like they're going to a restaurant where they can pick off the menu.
Right.
Okay, favors. You guys probably, if you've listened to us for any amount of time, know that we are not in favor of favors. So, firstly, you can cut the favors.
Yes.
Secondly, if you feel like you have to do some kind of a favor, you can do a charitable favor.
I donated X amount of dollars to a certain charity.
Yeah, and you can even let everybody know that at the reception, as a thank you, we're doing this with this charitable. We really feel passionate about it, and we appreciate you coming, and, this is what we did. Or favors as centerpieces, like we talked about before, little bitty floral arrangements, vases, stuff like that. You can do things like that you have used as your centerpiece, and you can offer, then piece it out and offer those as your favors.
Make yourself a DIY photo booth. Have little props. You can make props or you can buy props. They're not that expensive. And then have somebody that's there, somebody standing there to take the picture with their phone. And maybe have some kind of special, because I know you can have like special Snapchat filters done or something like that. And there you go. There's their wedding favor. They got a picture taken at your wedding. Didn't cost you anything except for the background and the props.
There's so many ways to do this. Yeah. So many ways.
Chairs. Most of the time, you have 2 separate locations for your ceremony and reception. You have to buy chairs or rent chairs for both. That's a lot of money. So you can ask the venue if we can move the chairs from the ceremony to the reception. They will have to have somebody there either to do that, or you have to have people there that will do it for you.
Yes, because you are not going to be moving those chairs.
This is a delegated task. Okay, so you pick the chair up, you put it at a table. You make sure that they know how many chairs go around this table. That's it. If you use the venue's people for this, you'll have to pay for that, but it's probably going to be cheaper than renting 150 more chairs. Just ask.
It does not hurt to ask. I've learned that in my many years on this earth. Another money-saving tip, disposable plates for cakes. Now, I'm not talking about the 10-cent ridged ones. I'm talking about you can get some really pretty ones, even bamboo ones that are you can even recycle or compost. They have some nice ones that even look like china. So use those instead of having to rent all those cake plates, those ones that could get broken, chipped, whatever. Disposable plates for cake. Great money-saving tip right there.
So you want to get married in the inner city, in your city that you live in, but it's expensive. Go to the suburbs. The restaurants are usually cheaper. Sometimes they even have restaurants in the suburbs that they have in the city. And if you look at their menu prices, they're like several dollars cheaper. So, you you want to have a rehearsal dinner at this restaurant. Well, there's 5 locations in the city near you. Do the one that's in the suburb, not the inner city. Mm-hmm. It could be so much cheaper.
You can even do catering from those too.
Yeah.
And bring those into your reception, and it might be cheaper than the one here, right here in the middle of, I was going to say Seattle, but your city.
Yeah. And also ask about kid menu pricing. Because if you're having kids at your reception, they're not going to eat prime rib and asparagus. Mm-hmm. See if they have a special kids menu and ask them for pricing for that.
You know, we both have kids. It's just the way it goes. They're not going to eat anything good.
Yeah, my kids still eat chicken fingers and mac and cheese. So there you go.
That would
and they're
be
18
simple.
and 15.
I mean, my kids they would probably eat the fish and, you know, all that stuff. But if we tell them, yeah, here's your pizza or your chicken nuggets, that's what you eat, then they'll be fine with that. But mostly there are a ton of picky kids, just so you know.
Yeah.
And even if you are having kids, some of the parents will bring their food anyway because there are extreme picky eaters when it comes to kids.
Buy secondhand decor. There's all of these wedding buy sale groups on Facebook.
So many.
They sell tons of decor. Go search it out and buy it from them because it's going to be cheaper.
Okay, and so our last money-saving tip here, it's about late night snacks. If you decide that you want to do late night snacks. Now, if you think about it, not everybody's going to stay till the end. There's early birds, probably the older crowd. Some of the older crowd, I should say, will be leaving fairly early. Some people head out right after the cake, but there are those that close out the night. So when you are ordering your light snacks or putting together those light snacks, you will not have to put as many of those together as you would the dinner. I think what I was reading is it's, 60 to 70% of what you offered with the food. There's just not going to be that many people. So don't overmake and over budget for these late night snacks. Think that's about it. In the show notes, we will try to put the episodes that we talked a little bit more in depth about some of these things, especially the floral, because you guys know we talk about that a lot, in the show notes. So check for those, which you can find at fromringtoveil.com/207, or hopefully in that podcasting app that you are listening to us on.
So here's a listener question for this week. So my mom and others really want to help me make decisions and do the research involved with hiring our vendors and such. How do I politely tell them when I expect them to do their part? I think that within a couple of days to a week should be acceptable to check back in for progress report. But I've been finding that they haven't gotten to that task yet. Okay. Give them a deadline. Just like you do at work, you have deadlines. This project has to be done by this date. This research and vendor stuff has to be done by such and such date. If you can't get it done, let me know and I will help. Or I will take it over. I know you probably don't want to do that, but if they're not going to get it done, then...
You have to.
Yeah. Me, I am a chronic procrastinator. Yeah, so don't give me tasks. No, I'm kidding. I always get it done in the long run.
Yes, especially if it's important like this,
Yeah.
It's not like something you have to put off.
Yeah.
I live by a calendar.
Yes.
So if I were you, something that you might consider is printing out or sending a calendar or something like that to these people and show everybody's things. Okay, this decision needs to be made here, this date, in order for me to do this. So make sure that they know that you're waiting on them and this is their date that it needs to be done by. And if you give them something visual to look at, even if you have your own calendar that you take a screenshot of and send that out, just so everybody's kind of aware of, hey, I'm waiting on you. And these other people might jump in and say, hey, I see that that's not done yet. Do you need help? And get your whole crew working together so you're not stuck with everything.
Right.
But like Shannon said, give them a deadline and either tell them, show them, print something, that it's solidified that, yeah, I'm waiting on you.
If I have a deadline, I get it done. I may wait till the last couple of days to do it, but yes, it will be done by that deadline day. Sorry,
So
I'm a
deadlines
chronic
help.
procrastinator. Yes, deadlines do help. I am a chronic procrastinator, and if I know I have to get it done by this date, it will get done. Whether I have to stay up all night the night before to do it, but it will get done.
And this is also kind of an indication of who you need to have on your bridal party to help you out. You need to know that, okay, Shannon's not going to be great at getting stuff done, so don't actually ask her. Maybe ask. No, I'm just kidding. But that's all part of it. And I think, like you said, I'd think that within a couple of days to a week, it would be acceptable to check back in for a progress report. Yeah, absolutely. Ping them, text, call, however it is that they communicate. Say, how's that going? Do you need any help? Do you have any questions? Don't be like, have you got this done yet? Don't be a dictator, but be
a leader.
a leader and hey, what can I do for you to help get this done, even though they're helping you? You know what I mean? And that might make them kind of jump to it.
Yeah.
All right, that's all we have for this week. Hopefully you've been enjoying our guest hosts lately. If you haven't heard them yet, Anne talking about makeup and hair and how to pamper mom, and Sam talking about destination weddings. We've had a really good time with our guest hosts lately, and we really appreciate that. So if you haven't listened, listen. They're great shows.
Do you want some FRTV swag? Then go to firmingtavail.com/TEE and pick and choose from our vast selection of swag for you.
Again, join our Facebook group, From Ring to Veil Wedding Planning Community. We're waiting for you. We'll let you in as long as you answer your questions. It's going to be a great time, I promise.
Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, iHeartRadio. Alexa has a skill you can choose from. Castbox and Google Podcasts.
Until next time, no stress, no worries. Keep calm and listen on. Music provided by bensound.com.